In less than 1 month after the meeting held in Brussels on 27th of February 2023, the Prime Minister of Kosovo, Albin Kurti, and the President of Serbia, Aleksandar Vučić, met on 18th March 2023 in Ohrid, North Macedonia, to negotiate the implementation plan for the Brussels Agreement. With the facilitation of the EU, the Annex was finalized and constitutes an integral part of the Brussels Agreement, stipulating that Kosovo and Serbia fully commit to honor all articles of the Agreement and Implementation Annex. According to the document, implementation of the Agreement and the Annex will be a condition for the respective EU accession processes of Kosovo and Serbia. It was defined that, for Serbia, the process to amend Chapter 35 will begin in order to include the obligations stemming from this agreement. Likewise, the Special Working Group will make the necessary changes to reflect Kosovo's obligations stemming from the agreement. The parties also agreed to endorse the Declaration on Missing Persons. The Implementation Annex further reiterates Kosovo's obligation to establish an appropriate level of self-management for the Serbian community in Kosovo, as described in Article 7 of the Basic Agreement, in accordance with previous agreements within the framework of the dialogue as determined by the EU facilitator. The parties also agreed to set up a joint monitoring committee, chaired by the EU, within 30 days, which will oversee the full implementation of the agreement. The Implementation Annex reiterates that, in order to implement Article 9 of the Basic Agreement, the EU will organize a donor conference within 150 days to set up an investment and financial aid package for Kosovo and Serbia. The Annex emphasizes the fact that Kosovo and Serbia agree not to block the implementation of any of the articles, that all articles will be implemented independently of each other, and that the order of the paragraphs is without prejudice to the order of their implementation. To limit the involvement of other international parties in the dialogue between Kosovo and Serbia, the EU representative requested that the parties agree that all discussions related to the implementation of the agreement will take place exclusively within the EU-facilitated dialogue. Despite the efforts made during the Ohrid meeting and Kosovo's readiness to sign, the agreements were not signed by Serbia. To save the agreement, the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs, Josip Borrell, stated that Kosovo and Serbia have agreed on the Implementation Annex and that this agreement is binding for both parties on their respective paths toward the European Union. As a result, the EU included this agreement in the conclusion of the EU Council as specific obligation for Kosovo and Serbia. However, the absence of signature and limited commitment to the agreement has reduced overall confidence in it, including among many European stakeholders, and this represents a key challenge for its implementation. Furthermore, the government of Serbia officially informed the EU of its refusal to recognize the binding nature of the agreement and contested key elements of the document, including the recognition of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and several other provisions. Despite the challenges and disputes, the Brussels Agreement and its Implementation Annex remain a key agenda of the EU and the West regarding Kosovo and Serbia, as well as the process of normalization of relations among them.